You are a 50% startup and you just hired a VP of sales from a really hot mid-market or early enterprise company. They just walked in the door and asked you for budget for a brand new sales tech stack comprising of ZoomInfo, Outreach, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Gong, and maybe Salesforce or HubSpot. When you tally up the numbers, you realize this is going to cost you between 150 to 300,000, which is a decent chunk of change. Now, why are they saying this? It's simply because these are tools that they are used to. They don't want to spend time learning brand new tools. Instead, they want to focus their energy on learning your business. So it makes a ton of sense why they're recommending it. However, for your startup, it may not make sense to go down this route because startups typically value tools that are easy to adopt, they have a quick time to value, that are best of breed in that particular category, and are affordable. None of those adjectives describe the technologies that I just named. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about different levels of your sales tech stack, what are some of the typical tools that enterprises value in those different categories, and then talk about what tools you should consider instead for your startup that may be better than some of these other tools. So let's get started. The first one we're going to talk about is list building. Now, any sort of outbound motion relies on solid list building. Typically, enterprises use something like a LinkedIn Sales Navigator or ZoomInfo to build these lists. Each one of them are great tools, but they have their own limitations. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is limited to the set of data that LinkedIn knows about. You try to, get emails or phone numbers for the leads in your list, you're out of luck. You can't do that. Plus, it makes it really hard to export data out of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. ZoomInfo is much better, however, it's significantly more expensive. And so, what should a startup look at? I recommend Clay. Think of Clay as a spreadsheet connected to a marketplace of data providers. So you can take your lead list and you can enrich it with data from anything from HG Insights to get a tech stack, to Google Maps to figure out how many locations there are, to LinkedIn, to ZoomInfo, anything. And so you can enrich your leads however you want. It's extremely flexible. And what's more important, it's very easy to get data out of Clay, and also it's extremely cheap to get started on. Second category that we're going to talk about is email outbounding. Now, the typical tools that enterprises use over here are Outreach or Salesloft. Again, both of them are really good tools, but you can think of them as sort of like Swiss Army knives. Platforms that cover emailing, LinkedIn outreach, even dialing. Most startups don't care about that sort of like platform level flexibility. What they really care about is high volume outbounding with good deliverability. That's all they care about. And for that, I strongly recommend you take a look at Instantly. Instantly is an email platform that allows you to connect from 10, 50, hundreds of email accounts to do high volume email outbounding. If you don't have email accounts, they even sell you those. They even do inbox placement testing for you. And it's built directly on top of Clay. So you do your list building in Clay, push data inside Instantly, and there you go. Really simple and easy tool to get started on. I highly recommend it. The third category is LinkedIn outbounding. Any sort of modern outbounding is not just email only. It is email, phone calling, and LinkedIn. Now, typically people use something again like Salesloft, Outreach, or even LinkedIn Sales Navigator to do any sort of LinkedIn outbounding. Now, the problem over here is that when it's time to reach out to a prospect over LinkedIn, these systems basically raise an alert to an SDR who manually connects with the prospect and manually sends them a message. The keyword over here is manual. Now, for high throughput outbounding, what you want is a platform that allows you to connect lots of LinkedIn accounts and then run a sequence across thousands of people so that you can connect with people automatically, send them messages automatically, all of that. Now, the platform that does that really well is HeyReach. So you can think of HeyReach as instantly built for LinkedIn. Again, you can connect 5, 10, 50 accounts, connect with prospects on LinkedIn automatically, and send in-mails automatically. It's a really good tool. I strongly recommend you try it out. Fourth category is call intelligence. Now that you have connected with prospects, maybe booked some meetings through email or LinkedIn outbounding, now you need some sort of call intelligence. Now, the safe choice in this category is Gong. It's a great tool, however, it's overpriced and overkill for startups. For startups, what I recommend is HeySam. Think of HeySam as Gong built for startups that live inside Slack. That's the key idea. That means that anything from being able to talk with your calls to being able to coach your reps or updating your CRMs, all of that can be done from inside Slack, where most modern startup sales teams live. I highly recommend it. Check it out. Last category is CRMs. Salesforce and HubSpot are the well-known choices over here. You've probably used one of these in one of your past lives. Great tools. However, they're also extremely hard to administer or to manage. I can vouch specifically for Salesforce that I've used that you typically need a Salesforce administrator to be able to configure it. Startups don't have the time or budget for that. For that sort of flexibility, why don't you try Attio? Attio allows you to customize your CRM to your exact sales motion and data model in a matter of seconds. Plus, it has really good data enrichments built into it automatically, so that when you create an account inside Attio, you get lots of data pre-built or enriched in Attio right off the bat. You don't have to do any sort of customization of that. So I strongly recommend that. So there you go. Those are the 5 categories. So I recommend Clay for list building, Instantly for email outbounding, HeyReach for LinkedIn outbounding, HeySam for call intelligence, and finally Attio for CRM. Let me know your thoughts. Till next time, take care. Bye.